So Hare Krishna and welcome everyone. Welcome to our course overview of Gita. This is our 54th class, which is a workshop on chapter number 14 and 15 of the Bhagavad Gita. In this workshop, we will be doing some quizzes, some objective type questions, some subjective questions. And then there is a case study, which I have shared a video prior to the class. And there is a verse memorization, and like that we will practice what we have studied in 14th and 15th chapter. So as usual, we will start with our regular Mangala Charan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamarupa Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam Shri Guruna Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Yes, so let us start the quiz. I have already shared a quiz which had 18 questions based on chapter number 14 and 15, and let us look at those questions, and you can unmute yourself because we would like that the devotees participate in the question and answer. And in case you have any doubts, any clarifications that you need, we can discuss while we are discussing the questions. So the first question was, what makes possible the birth of all the living beings? When the spirit soul desires to change body, when all 24 elements combine together, when the supreme personality of Godhead impregnates Brahman, and all of these. So what do you think is the correct answer? Sorry?
When the supreme personality of Godhead
impregnates Brahman.
Impregnates Brahman. Yes, very right. And we can see that in the sloka itself, the translation of the word says, the total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. And in the purport, if you read carefully the purport that Srila Prabhupada has given, Prabhupada has mentioned an analogy of a scorpion laying eggs in the pile of rice, and telling that from the pile of rice sometimes there are baby scorpion comes out. So people, when they see this, they sometimes think that these baby scorpions are coming out from the pile of rice, but actually it is not so. It is actually coming from the mother scorpion only, who laid the eggs, and from where these scorpion come. Similarly, Prabhupada writes here, material nature is not the cause of the birth of the living entities. The seed is given by the supreme personality of Godhead, and they only seem to come out as products of material nature. So it may appear that the living entity is coming out from material nature, but the ultimate cause, one is immediate cause and the other one is the ultimate cause. But the ultimate cause is the supreme personality of Godhead, who, when he impregnates the Brahman, the living entity is taking birth. Okay, so the correct answer is C. Okay, the next question, if Krishna is the same seed giving father for all entities, then why do different forms of life come during creation? Because of their past deeds, because Brahma designed them so, to have a wide range of species, and the Lord likes variety.
For their past deeds.
Sorry?
Past dates.
Past deeds.
Because of past dates.
Because of past deeds. Yes, yes, yes. So that's what we studied in chapter number 13, verse number 22, where Prakarter Karanam Guna Sangasyo Sad Asad Yonisu Janmasu, where the living entity, when it gets attached to the modes of material nature and develops some kind of a liking and do deeds accordingly, then he gets Sad Asad Yonisu Janmasu, then he gets different forms of life. So it is only because of the past deeds of the living entity, uh, different forms of life come during creation. So the Lord has to create, or Brahmaji has to create different forms to satisfy the desires of these different entities. Those entities doing good deeds get good birth. Those entities doing nasty deeds get lower birth. Those who are mixed sometimes are placed in somewhere in between. So the correct answer is because of their past deeds. Third question is, what is the cause of varieties of happiness and distress? Due to
The three
okay.
modes.
Different. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Due to influence of the modes of material nature.
Due to the influence of the modes of material nature. Can you explain
Modes
that
of
a little bit?
material.
How that create varieties of happiness and distress? Can you elaborate a little bit? Connect the thought, because the question is varieties of happiness and distress.
Not immediately able to.
For example, a person in the mode of ignorance,
Yeah.
he may find happiness by drinking alcohol, right? But somebody who is in
Correct.
the mode of goodness may find happiness by going out and walking in the nature or reading a book. So both the living entities are getting happiness, but because of different reasons. One who is in the mode
Reasons,
of
correct.
one who
Okay.
is in the mode of ignorance, one who is in the mode of ignorance is getting happiness by drinking alcohol, but one who is in mode of goodness is
Correct.
getting happiness by reading a nice book. So there are varieties of happiness and distress because of the modes of nature. So due to different kind of bodies, somebody may have sattvic body, somebody may have a body which is full of tamas or maybe full of rajas. The living entity is forced to act in a certain way, and
Yes.
since the living entity is forced to act in a certain way, the living entity is forced to act in a certain way, then there are varieties of happinesses and varieties of distresses. So that is how this causes various happinesses and distresses. Okay. Now the fourth question is, how does various mode bind or condition the living entity? Give an example of each. So this is based on verse number 6 till verse number 8. So what are the various modes?
Mode of goodness,
Okay.
mode
So
of
what?
passion, and mode of ignorance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does the mode of goodness bind?
So it is purer and it is a conditioned kind of thing with happiness and knowledge, and it is not affected by material miseries or material attachments.
Material attachments, because people are generally they can differentiate between what is good, what is
Yes.
bad.
Then they are knowledgeable.
They are knowledgeable, so they generally do good in life. And
Correct.
since they do good in life, they are able to deal with the anxieties of material nature, anxieties of life. They are well situated.
Correct.
But then what is the example of such people?
Maybe the scientist or some philosophers. who typically are engaged in this kind of mode of goodness.
Scientists and philosophers, because they are intelligent people,
Intelligent people, knowledgeable
generally,
people.
yeah, knowledgeable people. They generally do good. And what is the next one?
Mode of passion.
Mhm.
So typically they like to enjoy the sense gratification. They are typically want to do all this material enjoyment. Yeah.
Material
And
enjoyment.
they are bound by all these fruitive activities. So they expect something for what they have done.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by fruitive activity? You explained they expect something what they have done.
Correct. So
It
so
is
they will
some
always work hard or something, so that they want some returns out of that.
for their own
All
selfish
yeah.
needs.
Correct.
Selfish needs. So
Yeah.
that is mode of passion. So
Passion.
characteristic is I have done something, I should get in return.
Correct.
फ्री में नहीं करते हैं वो लोग कुछ काम. They don't do out of charity something. And what is the example? What is the example?
I think it is all this modern civilization, how the people work, and they want to always compare with other people, that I want ye dil mange more, something
Ye dil mange
you told
more.
as mange more.
Yeah.
Government officials.
Sorry,
also.
Prabhu.
Some government officials for doing their duty, they expect something extra from public.
Yeah, but some government official may not be like that. Generally, yes. Generally, maybe what you are saying is correct. But can we have a little more specific example? What is the main driving for mode of passion? What is the main?
That is various attractions in the world. Around in our modern days, there are so many attractions. They enjoying luxury item, luxury.
That is relationship between a man and woman.
Yes. Prabhu said. Prabhu gave a nice answer. It's an attraction between the man and the woman. So because of this attraction, man and woman come together. They produce children. Now, when they produce children, their needs increases. Because their need increases, the women have to take care of the household generally, but the men have to take generally outside the world. And because of their need, now they also have need for prestige in the society. So they work very hard. They want to increase their status. They want to appear very powerful or maybe influential in the society. And that actually drives the whole thing, the mode of passion. So hankering for more and more, getting more and more for us, enjoyment more and more, that is basically the root cause of mode of passion. So ultimately it all starts between attraction between man and woman. So that example you can always quote, attraction between man and woman. Yeah. And then what is the third one?
Mode of ignorance.
Tamoguna, ignorance.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
What happens in ignorance?
These people are very lazy, addicted to
People
intoxicants.
become mad, lazy,
Yeah.
sleepy.
Correct.
They get deluded.
Yeah. So it actually sluggish. It's a mode which brings activities to halt, thinking to halt, and it is just opposite to the mode of goodness. Mode of goodness. And what are the examples?
That is, people's awareness is poor with corona. That is also lifting out lockout. People are not taking precaution.
Oh yes.
That is the main thing. Scientists corona increase due to this tapas.
No. The mode of ignorance, people won't go out itself. They will sleep in their home. So I think mode of corona is more because of mode of. Yeah.
Passion.
So
drunkard.
Corona is probably more because of people who in mode in passion. They want to go out, eat in the restaurant, do party, enjoy life, having corona and giving corona also. Yeah. So ignorance people probably they just stay at home, or maybe inactivity. They don't or if they might be doing it out of ill motivation. Maybe I have corona, I'll also give corona to others. That may be the mentality of people in mode of ignorance. I am also sick. Let me make other also sick. So that may be possible. So madness, indolence, and sleep. Yeah. So man addicted to intoxicants and sleeping, generally that is the example of mode of ignorance. Okay. Good answers. Good discussion. Yeah. Okay. Then which is the correct option here?
Number D.
Okay. Who can explain that? How D is the correct option? Why goodness is connected with contemplation and action? Passion is no contemplation but action. Ignorance is no contemplation, no action. Can you elaborate? Somebody elaborate that?
One who, according to his conscience, acts, that is contemplation. According to the conscience, and a God-fearing man with action, that is good. That's a goodness. And we will be
actually a person who is intelligent. Okay, please let him.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
A person who is intelligent.
Yes, Jivan Prabhu. Yes, please.
A person who wants actually a goodness, mode of goodness, means a person who has got knowledge. He wants to impart that knowledge. He has to definitely contemplate, and then he has to get into action.
Correct.
And definitely he does not have to, he cannot definitely go back. Otherwise, he'll slip into mode of passion. So he has to only do the contemplation action, and he does not have to engage in activities which will do something fruitful for him. And definitely no contemplation, no action. When he has to act, definitely he has to do the preaching, or he has to impart the knowledge. The Brahmana, actually, this one, this Varnashrama Dharma, probably this Krishna says, the Brahmanas are supposed to give the knowledge to the people. So definitely they have to do contemplate and act. Passion, that definitely they cannot have passion, and no contemplation. How they can do the impart the knowledge? The idea is to transfer the knowledge to people. That is my decision.
Yeah. I mean, in general, what Jivan Radha Govind Prabhu mentioned, directionally it is very right. I'll give you another example. In Satvik, in goodness, the person actually thinks properly, and based on a well-defined thought, he then takes an action. Rather than, and in mode of passion, because these people are passionate, generally much contemplation doesn't happen, and it is something more like a knee-jerk reaction. Somebody told something to them, and they just immediately start to take action, because they just quickly want to come in the mode of action. They just want to do something without thinking whether that action will be good, bad, will bring good results, not good results. They will not think like that. Ignorance, people in mode of ignorance, they are so dull that they don't even contemplate, and neither they take any action. At least mode of passion, people take some action, they do something about it. Sometimes it may be correct, sometimes it may not be correct, because they have not contemplated well. So passion is still better than ignorance, but ignorance is no hope, no contemplation, no action. For example, if you are in a cinema hall, and suddenly and there are 3 people in a cinema hall, and suddenly a fire breaks out. So the person in the mode of ignorance will simply freeze. He will simply panic out of fear. He will think that now my end is near, can't do anything. He just will freeze. A person in mode of passion will start to run here and there, will start to look for exit, may just create an stampede in the hall, may crush others, push others. But the person in mode of goodness will think wisely. Oh, there is a fire extinguisher kept somewhere in the corner of the picture hall, or in public places. Generally, there is a fire extinguisher kept. Let us ask other people if they know, if they have seen any fire extinguisher in the hall, and then maybe he can team up with people, and then maybe he will try to locate the fire extinguisher, and then he will try to do the action. He will try to extinguish the fire. So goodness is characterized by contemplation and action. Passion, no contemplation, but some action, and ignorance, no contemplation and no action. So that is how generally the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, you can differentiate.
Mahatma Gandhi said, Prabhu,
Yeah.
service
Yes,
without conscience,
mm-hmm.
education without character,
Mm-hmm.
like these 7 sins, yes, they're all coming under goodness.
Yes.
Education without character,
Yeah.
service without conscience,
Yeah.
business without ethics.
Correct.
These are some 7 sins, he said.
Yes.
There, if one avoids these sins, then he will become a good man.
Correct. Very good answer. Very good example. Business without ethics, and maybe politics without maybe strategy, or maybe higher moral standards. So all those things, if somebody follows, these are all example of mode of goodness.
Education without character, that is a very main thing.
Correct.
यहाँ बंदा टोपी वाला भी फिट हो जाएगा.
Yes. We did that workshop in the past about one salesperson who is about to sell a cap and sleeps under the tree, and the monkeys steal the cap. So what does the salesperson do? Salesperson, if he's in mode of ignorance, he will just shout, he will just cry, he will just blame others and will do nothing. And the person in mode of passion will start to throw stones at monkeys and will put stick. But somebody who is in mode of goodness, he will think about it. He will think that, okay, monkeys are imitators. He will take his cap, will throw on the ground, and similarly the monkeys will also throw the caps on the ground, and intelligently he will get his cap, all the caps back. So we did that workshop in the past. So thank you for reminding that. Oh yeah, this is important one. 6th question. Explain what is meant by pure goodness or Vasudev state. How is the state, Vasudev state, different from mode of goodness? I mean, I have checked most of the answer sheets, and in most of the answer sheets, I have found the response was very much faithful to the purport that Srila Prabhupada has written. But what I am expecting is more in your own words, if you can explain, rather than just picking up from the purport. So if you can explain it.
Prabhu,
Yes.
Consciousness, goodness activities, strictly.
Sorry.
Having Krishna consciousness, consciousness, in every good activity, strictly, rigidly, that may lead to Vasudeva state.
Okay, but what is the what in Krishna consciousness? What is different and which is not there in goodness?
Suppose a man walks on the road, he's very careful, very strictly, only one thing is to succeed to reach the other end. Similar to that, his aim must be to reach Krishna, the lotus feet of Krishna. So rigidly he must follow that. So cautiously he must follow this.
Okay, very good.
That I feel, in my opinion.
Actually, there's a possibility for slipping down. When somebody is in mode of goodness, definitely there is a possibility of falling down to the mode of passion. And also, unless, see, when that is a very, actually, that stage, it is a sort of a state in which one has to be very careful. And if he wants to reach Krishna, then he has to definitely, there's a possibility of definitely falling down. So one has to surrender to Krishna, and one has to think of Krishna, and that's what Krishna also advises. This Traigunya Vishya Veda, this still don't know Bhava. That's why he says you have to reach the stage of Shuddha Sattva, so that it does not fall down. For that, the next stage is only next stage is only to catch hold of Lord Krishna and surrender to him. So that definitely he does not fall down. Otherwise, there is even in goodness, people can fall down and they can get into mode of passion, and then they can definitely slip down. This is my thinking. Yeah.
Okay. The possibility.
Prabhuji, can I?
Oh yes, Vasudevan Prabhu. Yes, please.
Prabhuji, my understanding is even in goodness, he is still in the entrapment of gunas. He is still a trapped soul.
Mhm.
And when we say you surrender to the Lord so that you transcend these modes, even the goodness mode has to be transcended.
Mhm.
Even if you're operating in goodness, you will still be taking rebirths. You may go to a heavenly planet, spend some time, give your credit, and then you don't
That is
get out
correct.
of this cycle.
Yeah,
But whereas by
Correct.
surrendering
That
to
is
the
I
Lord
think
and
that's the correct
understanding
answer.
that the Lord is beyond the these three modes, that is the what's a pure goodness or Vasudeva state.
yeah.
That is
That's see in your answer.
Goodness is the pious. You
Yeah,
may do pious activities, and then actually you can go only maximum. The mode of goodness can go only to heavenly planets. When you want to reach Goloka Vrindavana or Krishna's abode, then definitely you have to transcend that mode of goodness also and get into that. That is possible by definitely, you have to, do devote service and pure bhakti and all that, and then only you can transcend.
yeah. But
This is one of the
but
examples.
what is the flaw in goodness that I am still not, that I am still missing in the answers? What is the flaw in goodness? Technically, what the answers have come so far are okay. But what is the technical flaw in
Flaw,
goodness?
flaw,
What is the
flaw,
problem?
flaw in
You are
goodness
still
is
attached
he is
in
still attached
goodness.
to the modes. He is still driven by the thing of the mode, goodness mode.
No, but
And
what is that attachment? What is the no? That is okay. Attachment.
it's a
With
material attachment is still
No.
there. He's not getting rid of this material. He's still
Yeah,
yeah. But what is
bound
that
in this
material?
world. He's still
What
bound.
what is
He's
that
bound by
material
pride,
attachment?
attachment.
right?
To
Sorry.
take credit for ourselves,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and we try to say that, okay, I did it, instead of looking at it, okay, Krishna did it.
You
That's
read
my
my
view.
yeah. Yes, you are right. Actually, in the mode of goodness, the person thinks that he is actually the uh, he is actually responsible for the good condition that has been created because of his intelligence, because of his knowledge. He is actually the person behind all that knowledge, all that opulence that he has generated. See, Srila Prabhupada
The
writes,
false ego is
yeah, yeah,
sort of a sense of false ego,
sense of superiority, sense of that he's
sense of
advanced
superior.
in, because he's
Yeah.
advanced in knowledge, he's better than others. That's what he thinks in mode
Yes.
of goodness, and that's what keeps him binding. That's what keeps him binding, because he thinks that I am the doer,
Mm.
I am intelligent, I am knowledgeable, I am actually able to do these. I'm superior to others. I'm actually responsible for benefiting the others, and so on. He forgets verse number 3.27 in Gita, which says, "Prakrte kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankar vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate." Out of ahankar, out of pride, he starts to think that I am the doer. But the person who is in mode of pure goodness, he doesn't think like that. He thinks, he believes, he understands. He not only understands, he's actually have full faith that whatever good condition actually he is in, that is only because of the mercy of the Lord. Because the Lord gave me the intelligence, because the Lord gave me the desired results of my whatever past karma that I have done, or because the Lord is actually benevolent, so kind, that is why I am able to do that. So that is the fundamental difference between mode of goodness and mode of pure goodness. And that is what devotional service is all about. In devotional service, when we are in mode of goodness and we start to develop this understanding that we are actually servants of the Lord, we are only because of the Lord, uh, we are able to do good in our life. In fact, if something bad happens, that is only because of my past misdeed. So that kind of understanding is something which the person in pure goodness have. So that is the fundamental difference between mode of goodness and mode of pure goodness. So this
Very
is
nice
the
explanation, Prabhu. Very nice.
yes. Oh, thank you, Prabhuji. So this is pure goodness means when one can understand the signs of God. So this is what Prabhupada has written in the purport, which is correct. But the point
But,
is
but
a
this
little,
has to be explained.
yeah, little deeper understanding of the mode of pure goodness. In mode of pure goodness, the person even may act against the God and still achieve liberation. For example, Bhishma Pitama. Bhishma Pitama fought towards the side of the Kauravas, but still he is considered to be the greatest, one of the greatest devotees, Mahajanas actually, of the Lord. So why? Because he was fighting against the god. He knew that he is going to get bad name throughout the history because he's fighting against. But in order to give the Lord the taste of virya, taste of heroism, he did that. So this is pure goodness. Actually, is very is all done out of pleasure for the Lord. If Lord wants you to act as his enemy, that is also acceptable in pure goodness. So that is what pure goodness is. So one starts to see the hand of God all around. One starts to develop a sense of love of God towards God, and one starts to work according to the instructions of God. So that is mainly what happens in mode of pure goodness. So another example which can be given is, if you take a one chapati, and you ask these four people, mode of goodness, passion and ignorance, and mode of pure goodness, how will they distribute? The mode of goodness person will distribute. Mode of ignorance person, he will actually distribute that I get the whole chapati, and the other person actually goes to hell. That's how he will think. Mode of passion person will think, when I distribute, let me get some 5-10% out of his share in my part. So अगर मैं इस चपाती को divide करूं, तो I get 60%, the other person get 40%. The mode of goodness person will divide exactly 50-50. But the mode of pure goodness person will think, even if you take my share and you feel happy about it, and God will feel happy about it, you even take my share also. That is pure goodness. When the person sees everything in connection with God, how the Lord will be pleased, that's how that chapati should be distributed. If that means taking my share also, that is also fine. That is how the person in pure goodness think. Okay, the other seventh question, what is meant by no other performer is at work other than these three modes? This is a very technically intriguing question. Although many of you have answered it well. Because Srila Prabhupada purport was there. But let me challenge you on your understanding about this. Sorry, I'm using the word challenge, but just to provoke you. Yeah. How will you explain that in your own words without taking help and support from Prabhupada's purport? See, I just read this verse 327, which says, Prakarte kriyamani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankar vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. So what it is saying here is Prakarte kriyamani. Prakarte kriyamani means only the material nature is working. Material nature is working. Gunai karmani sarvasha, and modes are at work. Modes are doing everything. And ahankar vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. And such a person who is under the influence of modes thinks that I am the doer. So what does this mean is that these modes, kindly try to understand what are these modes. Just the modes are, let me put the class to mute for maybe next 5 minutes. This is an important concept which I want to explain. See, the modes are forces which are exerted by the body on the living entity. Living entity is what? Living entity is the soul. It is just like gravity. Gravity means if I hold something in my hand, if I just leave it, it will drop downwards. So everything in this world, if you don't take care of it, it degrades. If you leave material things, they will corrode, they will degrade. If you don't work on your consciousness, that will also degrade. So the material things degrade because of what? Because of the atmosphere, because of the oxygen and so on. It will degrade. But the consciousness degrades because of what? Consciousness degrades because of the pulls of the mode. These modes are like forces, just like gravity. See, if you have to lift something in this world, you have to use pump, or you have to use a crane, You have to use extra effort to lift something. Otherwise, what is the natural direction? It goes towards it downfalls, it falls. Similarly, consciousness also falls unless and until you take care of it. And how do you take care of it? And why the consciousness falls? Because of the force or the pulls of the modes. And these pulls are of three varieties: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. And from where these three pulls come? From the body. Why this body is given to you? Because of your past karma. So the point is, the living entity is entrapped in this body and always constantly under pull of these forces, of these modes. Constantly, like we are, like in gravity, the object is constantly under force. If you just one slight opportunity, the object will fall down. Similarly, the consciousness will fall down with slight I would say shortcoming. It will fall down. So what this phrase is saying, no other performer is at work other than these three modes. Now these modes can attract us in two ways. One is positive, one is not so positive. Positive means we get our talent. For example, somebody is very intellectually inclined, somebody is administratively inclined, somebody is very business minded. So these are something like which are good qualities the person may get. And if the person uses these good qualities wisely, these modes help. But at the same time, these forces can be negative also, which are known as vasanas, which are known as lusts. And when the person acts according to these lusts, actually he falls down. So what happens when we say, what does it mean? No other performer is at work other than these three modes. Say if the person doesn't generally is very careful about the pulls of the modes, he will naturally behave the way the modes are going to ask him. And there is a nature of every individual, and the individual will work according to the modes that has been given to him in the form of the body. So this is something which you should be very, very much understandable of this concept of what are these modes and what does the mode do on you, on the living entity. It creates a pull, it creates a force. If you read chapter number 3, in chapter number 3, verse number 36, where Lord Krishna is explaining Arjuna about the concept of Nishkam Karma Yoga. He is again and again explaining Arjuna, do your duty, do your duty, do your duty. Arjuna keeps on listening this, do your duty, do your duty. And in 36th verse, he asks, I understand, Krishna, that do your duty is right. Although people understand that they should do their duty, but why one is impelled to sinful acts even unwillingly, as if engaged by a force? Annichanapi varshneya baladiv niyojitaha. Annichanavi, ichha, without willing, and varshne bal adiv. Bal means force. Bal adiv. Div iva means like some force is acting on it. There is some internal destructive tendencies there within us, which actually pulls and takes us towards destruction. And then in that response, what Krishna responds? Krishna says, Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhava. This is kama, this is lust, this is anger, which comes from where? Which comes from raja guna. So this is something, mode of natures we are studying in 14th chapter, but the description of modes of nature, if you read Gita again and again, you will start to see the description of modes of nature comes in many chapters. In 3rd chapter, Lord in fact says that it is like a force, it is like a destructive force which is there inside us, which leads us to destruction. And that is what it is meant by no other performer is at work other than these three modes. So a person who is not careful of holding on to these modes or checking into these modes, the modes will take over and the modes will start to work. That's what actually we should understand. And let us see how Srila Prabhupada has explained this. Now you can maybe like to unmute yourself and participate in the discussion. So what Prabhupada is saying here is, living entity is forced to act in a certain way because he is situated in a particular type of body. And then example, one of the example that is given is a man cutting a tree with an axe. So that is the example given by acharyas, that if you have to cut a tree, can you cut a tree yourself? No, we have to cut a tree with using an axe. Similarly, the body is given to us, the living entity is there inside the body, but the living entity, the way the living entity will function will depend upon the body. So similarly, if a man is given an axe which is very sharp, he will cut the tree very fast. This is mode of goodness. And the man who is given a axe which is slightly blunt, that is passion. And the man which is given an axe which is fully blunt, that is something like mode of ignorance. So the body really matters and the modes matters, but the point is we should understand when the modes are at work. We should be able to differentiate ourselves from the workings of the mode, and identify when the mode of passion is getting heavy on us, when mode of ignorance is getting heavy on us, because these are forces, they will pull us down. And we should keep a check on that by doing what? By doing devotional service, by regularly and constantly keeping ourselves in connection with devotional service. So that is something which I wanted to emphasize upon it. Yeah. Okay, I hope the explanation was clear. The concept of force is clear, or still
Yes,
there is
Very
some.
good, sir. Very good, Prabhu. Very good,
Yes,
Prabhu. Very nice,
nice,
Prabhu. Very
very
nice.
nice.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Then list 6 symptoms of one transcendental to the 3 modes. I think this is an easy one, a very standard answer, but I wanted to keep it here just so that we know the list, because it's a very common question people ask. How do we know we are spiritually advancing? So whenever you have these kind of questions, you should see these kind of symptoms which you will find in everywhere. You will find in chapter number 4 where Lord says about Nishkam Karma Yoga, the person who is doing Nishkam Karma Yoga, what are the symptoms. Then you will find also in chapter number 6, you'll also find them in the sections of Bhakti Yoga. Now this is Gyan Yoga section, you will find similar description, because all of these yoga systems will actually lead you towards purification. So the same symptoms will manifest. Either you do Nishkam Karma Yoga, you do Jnana Yoga, you do Dhyana Yoga, you do Bhakti Yoga. Ultimately, as you progress in your yoga ladder, as you progress in your purification level, the same symptoms will appear. But ultimately, when you have to go to the transcend to the devotional platform, go to the highest platform to Krishna, ultimately you have to take Bhakti Yoga at some point of time in whatever yoga system you bring or you upheld. So the 6 symptoms are: when modes come, the person does not resent, and when the mode goes, he does not crave. So a person like this is actually very careful about the modes. He understands that there are pushes and pulls in the body, but he's careful. He watches them. Oh, now I'm feeling a little greedy. Now I'm feeling a little angry, and then he carefully watches them, and then uh, let them go away, let them and do something about to mitigate them or to overcome them. He will actually like to keep silent at that time, or will do something. Otherwise modes will pull. A person in mode of passion will react, will have a knee-jerk reaction, but a person in mode of goodness or pure goodness will contemplate. So this is something which is a person who is transcendental to the 3 modes, then equal in happiness and distress. And because he is able to control these push and pulls, he is happy. When he is happy and distressed, he is actually equal. He doesn't retaliate. Sees earth, stone, gold as same. He doesn't become greedy when he sees gold. He doesn't become depressed when he sees earth. So he's stable. Equal towards praise and blame. Treats friends and enemies alike. He decides based on ethics. He decides based on scriptures, not just because somebody is not favorable to him, somebody is unfavorable to him. Doesn't think like that. And then renounces all material activities. Just because he's completely transcendental, he's not connected to attached to material activities, he renounces them. Okay, so the next is, what is the key to understanding the 3 modes? unfailing devotional service, which is 14.26, right? I hope most of you have given this answer very correct. So this is every time since we are reading Bhagavad Gita right from chapter 1, this point keeps on coming again and again, that whatever you are doing, ultimately you have to take to devotional service. And the word used in this particular verse is Mam yo avyabhicharena. Avyabhicharena means unfailing. Unfailing means continuously. It is not a part-time activity. It is not something which we should do. Yeah, we should not do it something like maybe for 2 days and then leave it, then 3 days, then leave it. No, continuously, unfailing, we should continuously do it. Maybe some small gaps might be there, some little bit up and down might come, but our general inclination should be that we should be engaged in devotional service. So chapter 7.14, the Lord says, one who has surrendered to me can overcome Maya. What is Maya? Maya is nothing but modes. A combination of modes is, Maya is the force that pulls us. One can overcome Maya easily. And we have given the example of master and dog. So if you go to somebody's house and the dog starts barking at you, and the master simply says the dog, Tommy, just keep silent, then the dog will be silent. Similarly, Krishna is master and Maya is dog. So if you serve master, the master will take care of the dog. So master will take care of the Maya, Krishna will take care of the Maya. So that is what unfailing devotional service will do. It will keep Maya in check. Okay, what is the banyan tree metaphor? Who can explain? Maybe we can have a joint effort on that. It's a long thing. Can you explain?
Urdhva means
Yeah.
Lord Krishna, Urdhva Moolam. The trunk is Brahma, the creator. Branches are the various creatures in the world. And leaves denote Veda.
No, branches means the planets.
Planets.
Yeah, and the root is actually Brahma, not the trunk. The root is Brahma. Okay, I'll give one by one. So first of all, the good point about this banyan tree is this is inverted in nature. So what does inverted tree means? It's a reflection of real tree in the spiritual world. And what does it mean? This means things are opposite in material world. In the material world, things are opposite just to spiritual world. Spiritual world, everyone is trying to serve the Lord. In the material world, everyone is trying to serve themselves. So that is why the tree is inverted. So that is first thing. The second thing is it's a reflection. A reflection means if you want to get a fruit from the tree, you have to get a fruit from the real tree. If you want to get a fruit from the reflection, you cannot get the fruit because reflection is unreal. It doesn't give you happiness. So that is what it means. In the material world, it's a reflection of spiritual world. You cannot find happiness. You cannot find real fruit of Krishna Prem or service of Krishna, or maybe the real happiness is not seen in this material world. So ultimately, we have to cultivate spiritual desires to go to the spiritual world. Then the next point is the leaves of these tree are like Vedas, the hymns of the Vedas. What does it mean? That the Vedic rituals are not sufficient. The Lord says we should know the whole tree or purpose behind the Vedas to actually get out from this the material world. Fourth point is there are various branches on this tree which represents different planets. And these branches go up and down. So if you can go to a good planet, you can go to a good planet, you can go to a lower planet. So that is what the branches represent. Then this tree is nourished by the modes of nature, which are gunas. That is the cause of creation of these material world, because the living entity want to enjoy. Karanam guna sangasya sadasad yonisu jang bhungte prakartir jan guna. Bhungte karanam guna sangasya. Sangasya means attachment. So attachment to the three modes is actually the cause of the birth of living entity. So that is what it means. The tree is nourished by the three modes of nature. Then the twigs are sense objects. The tip of branches are actually the senses. The main root of the tree, which is the main root, that represents Brahma, because Brahma creates all the living entities. But there are secondary roots. Secondary roots are those roots which are falling from the branches. These secondary roots are the vasanas. Once the living entity is created by Brahma, the living entity has desires, vasanas, and which keeps him creating again and again and taking birth again and again. So that is why these are known as secondary roots, vasanas. So that is the explanation of the metaphor of the banyan tree. Sorry, I'm a little quick because I have to cover several things today.
Prabhu, leaves and fruits were left out, I think.
Yeah, leaves were the hymns of the Vedas, and the fruits were something like dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha are the fruits. So those are the two aspects. Thank you, Prabhuji. Now, as soon as one surrenders unto Krishna, one becomes detached automatically from this material extension. What does it mean? Oh, sorry. Is it true or false?
Yes, true.
Okay. Yeah. So the point is, because this is what we explained in our classes, that all these sections are in the Gyan Yoga sections, and in Gyan Yoga the main sadhana is actually studying the Vedas, contemplating on what is Purusha, what is Prakriti, what is the modes of nature, what are the 24 elements, all that. But for a devotee, he does not have to contemplate all that thing. How does he detaches himself from the material world? He simply surrenders to Krishna, and by devotional service the detachment comes automatically. So this statement is true. Okay. So the next question is, how can one reach the supreme abode of Krishna from this material world?
All
of the above.
All of the above.
Do bhakti, do association with devotees,
Surrender
surrender to the
Krishna.
Lord. Okay.
All of the above.
All of the above. Very good. Okay. Explain how Lord Krishna maintains the jiva at the material level.
Of course.
So at the cosmic level,
At cosmic, I am the source of light.
at the source of light.
Then,
So sun is the source of
so
energy.
I
Without
enter into
yeah. So cosmic level, source of light. Okay, and the earthly level
enter into planet.
Enters the planet, and moon provides the juice of life to vegetables. Okay, and at the bodily level,
Krishna is
Krishna
is the digestion power. Fire of digestion.
Fire of digestion.
And the
Yeah.
air of the pranavayu.
Yeah, and at the spiritual level, seated in everyone's heart, and he also gives us Vedas as source of spiritual knowledge. Okay, wonderful. So ultimate goal of Vedas. What is the ultimate goal of Vedas?
Supreme
The supreme personality of God.
Yes, Vedescha sarvair ahameva vedyo. Correct answer, supreme personality of Godhead. Okay, oneness with God. Okay, this is an important one. What does oneness with supreme personality of Godhead means?
The B is the correct answer. I am it.
Okay, you mentioned B as the correct, Prabhu?
B is the correct. I have actually I was doubtful, but somehow I just missed it. D is the correct. I wanted to fill up only B. Then somehow I thought and then put it as
A is the correct answer.
Yeah, A is the correct answer. A is the correct answer. Okay. So what is the disunity? There is no disunity. So what do you mean by disunity here, or what do you mean by unity here?
I mean, A is the correct answer.
Yes.
Next question only I made that mistake.
So I think if one transcends to the spiritual level, maybe he is equal with respect to God, but in a qualitative way he is he is at the same level, but in the quantitative way he is totally different, because God is something at a much higher level than the living entity.
Okay, that is maybe for a different. That is not unity.
That is the next
unity,
question, I think.
qualitative it is unity, but quantitative it is disunity. But here we are
Disunity,
talking about unity. What is that unity?
One
There is,
should
it is saying there is no disunity. The response that you gave, Manishji, had unity in one part, but disunity in another part. So this is something else. What is the unity?
The unity is that one should think that everything positive results are the result of Krishna's blessing. It's Krishna's. That should be the attitude.
Okay, you are there.
Our
Yes,
unity is that Atma, our soul, is essentially the same as the Supreme.
Qualitatively one.
Qualitatively, our
there is
soul,
unity between
soul of the living
that is only
being.
by quality.
Yeah, that's the same answer Manishji also gave, but that is not. I mean, that is qualitatively oneness, but quantitatively there is a difference.
Yes.
So it is not
difference.
But the statement says here no disunity. So what
that
is that saying here?
No disunity.
I agree. You are
no
asking about what is the unity.
What is the unity here? What is that one single unity? And there is no contradiction, both in the eyes of the Lord and the
detachment from material world.
Detachment. Okay, you are going there.
But they are in agreement with the purpose of creation.
They are in agreement with the purpose of creation. Yes. And what is the purpose of creation? What is the purpose of creation? They agree in the purpose of creation. That is correct. But what is the purpose of creation?
Creation, they say Leela also.
Sorry?
They say Leela, Bhagavan's Leela, the creation, everything is Leela, Vibhuti, or we read it somewhere.
See, the purpose of creation is that the living entity rectify their mistake and go back to Godhead.
And then,
and that is the purpose of the Lord also. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tatvata tyaktva deham punarjanma neti maameti swarjuna. The Lord says in the 4th chapter, say the living entity understands that my janma and karma are divya, and then understand this by tattva, and then come back to me. And that is the purpose of creation also. The Lord creates this material universe or material world. The living entity enjoy here, but He also gives facility. He also gives Vedas. He also gives knowledge. Sends His representatives. Takes avatar Himself. Does Leela for what? So that the living entity who is forgetful of the Lord can come back to Him. So that is the purpose. So there is no disunity. That is the oneness means akshara. So the word akshara or the oneness, the word in 16th verse is kutastha. Kutastha is oneness, and this is used for those living entities which are akshara. Akshara means which have already purified themselves, which are infallible. So the infallible living entity are of this opinion that they should serve the Lord, and the Lord is also of the opinion that they should serve me. Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. That is the purpose of the Lord. Living entity also, who is akshara, thinks that we have to serve the Lord. So that is where there is a unity in purpose, both of the God and both of those entities which are kutastha, which are which are in oneness, which are akshara, which are infallible. So that is what makes the A as the correct answer. There is no disunity between. Okay, let us move ahead. Living entity cannot surpass in quantity what?
Inconceivable. A is the correct
A is correct answer. Inconceivable potencies. Now here what you were arguing in the previous question, qualitatively we are one with the Lord. So which is nature? We can become same as God because we are part and parcel of the Lord. But right now we are covered in these material bodies and contaminated. So that is the contamination. So even if we become pure as God, but we cannot have the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. So that is what it means. Living entity cannot surpass in quantity the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. Nature, we can have the same nature because we are actually part and parcel of the Lord. Mamaiv amsho jiva loke. So since we are part, we are of the same nature. We are also Satchidanand. The Lord is also Satchidanand. The nature is same. Like drop of water from the ocean same chemical composition, same nature, but a drop cannot float
Full
the
ocean,
sea.
full ocean.
A drop cannot float a ship. A ocean can float a ship. In ocean, a ship can float, but in a drop, the ship cannot float. So that is what living entity cannot surpass in quantity the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. So correct answer is A. 17th, by engaging in devotional service of the Lord, one is freed of all. What is the correct answer?
All of this.
All of these.
All of this.
So sinful activities slowly will come down. Ignorance will turn to knowledge. Contamination will come to purification. So once you engage in devotional service, all these qualities will slowly manifest. So all of these. Nice. Then 18th, which weakness of Jiva binds him to the material world? Desire to lord over material nature, becoming attached to matter and its possessions, both A and B, material existence. What is the correct answer?
Both A and B.
Both A and B.
A and B.
Yeah. So desire to lord over material nature and becoming attached to matter and its possessions. So the correct answer is both A and B. So I hope this quiz was useful in getting the concepts a little more refined, more detailed in your understanding, and probably that might help your reading of Bhagavad Gita in future or maybe in coming sessions. Now let us move towards our second section of today, which is a case study, and it's a story of Vishvamitra. I had sent early in the morning today a drama from ISKCON Chowpatty, which is Pearls to Beads, which is based on the life of Vishvamitra Muni. I'm not sure how many of you are really able to see that drama. Actually, the fault was mine that I could not send it before, because I was not able to find out a good case study. And suddenly yesterday evening only it struck to me that this might be a good case study. And half of the class probably have already understood that story of Vishvamitra. We did a whole seminar on Ram Katha sometimes in March this year. So what the question is for all of us at the moment is, identify various events in the life of Rishi Vishvamitra to show how various modes made him dance like a puppet. Is the question clear?
Yes, yes.
But any one of you were able to see the drama? Any of you? I had sent in the morning. Any?
Yes.
Prabhu, I could see only for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay. So first 10-15 minutes.
15 or 20 minutes I could see.
Most of the drama.
Okay.
Fast forwarding here and there.
Because, you know the story. Yeah.
ड्रामा बहुत ही पता चला विश्वामित्र का, कैसे विश्वामित्र जी बने.
Okay, नर्मदा जी. Okay.
हाँ जी.
या. तो हम यहाँ पर हम क्या प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं कि जो विश्वामित्र जी के जीवन में जो घटनाएं हुई, जो आपने ड्रामा में देखी, वो यहाँ पर जो हमने अभी मोड्स ऑफ नेचर जो चैप्टर पढ़ा है, अध्याय पढ़ा है, उसमें जो बातें सीखी हैं, वो कैसे हम विश्वामित्र जी के जीवन से हम उसे कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. तो जो भक्त, those devotees who are not able to see the drama, I would highly recommend that you see the drama. It's a 50-minute drama, very entertaining, done very nicely. Quality is very good. But the point of modes of nature, it brings out so loud and clear. You can see each and every point that you see in the drama clearly mentioned in these chapters of chapter number 14. So I will not narrate the story. I will leave it for the audience, for the devotees to watch it later. My apologies that I could not send it earlier. But those devotees who have watched it, or maybe who have remember it from the previous discussions, will they like to share something? How they can relate the various events in the life of Rishi Vishvamitra with modes of nature, which made him dance like a puppet.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
The first is...
Prabhu, I could hear only for...
Okay. Jeevan Prabhu.
Okay, please go.
Okay.
Yeah, Prabhu, I could read only for about 15 minutes. Of course, I vaguely remember this, but still, when actually he's going and asking Vishwamitra and this Vasishtha Muni, they meet in their ashram, and he's being served and all that. Vishvamitra and his other sages are being served. And when he sees that the cow, that Sabala, then he gets he gets the desire. So he feels why I should not have it. The desire starts, desire starts, and Vasishtha Muni refuses to give it. And immediately that when the desire is not fulfilled, when the desire is not fulfilled,
he gets angry. He gets angry. He gets angry. Yes. So
angry.
Okay.
And so Kamat Sanjayat, like that, there is a shloka. I'm not immediately.
So sorry, I'm cutting you short a little bit in between because in the interest of time.
Okay.
The point is which mode you see here in working? Which mode do you see?
Rajogun.
Rajogun, right? So this is mode of passion. This is mode of passion. So in chapter 14, what did we study? Mode of passion, fruitive activities. Manishji, you remember you responded to this? Fruitive activities.
Yes, Prabhu.
So it is something like, unless there is something interesting for me, I'm not going to give you anything.
Correct.
And then because of that fruitive desire of Kaushik or Vishvamitra, he wanted that cow. And something similar happens to us also. So we may want a certain type of a house at any cost, maybe certain car at any cost, maybe certain promotion, certain job location, and whatnot, isn't it? So that is mode of passion at work. So that is something which is the lesson from the episode of Vishvamitra and Shabala. And what more, Vasudevan Prabhu, you were sharing us with, you were sharing something.
This was Rajogun. It is permanent. Both, not only that, even when first Vashishta says that I am going to serve food, he sort of, how are you going to serve? And my whole army, etc. So that's also Rajogun. And then when acquiring position.
So Shabala and Vashishta. Okay, we'll go one by one, Prabhuji. So Shabala and Vashishta, what we see Kaushik as a very self-centered king, interested in acquiring possessions. In this case, which is Shabala, the cow. So which is, I have color coded this as red. So wherever I have color coded is red, that is mode of passion. Mode of passion. And okay, now let us move to the story, the next part of the story. So what happens after Shabala and Vashishta? What story comes?
Then Vishvamitra gets defeated by the army, Shabala's army.
No. Before that. Oh, okay. He gets defeated by Shabala's army. Okay, fine. But what after that? Shabala is now gone.
That, he goes to the forest.
Shiva and he makes a penance.
Yes. So the next one is meditation to Lord Shiva. Now what happens in meditation to Lord Shiva?
In meditation to Lord Shiva also, during meditation, Lava is in a Sattva mode.
Okay.
During meditation, is in Sattva mode.
But when asking for something, what mode is there?
When he's asking, again Rajogun comes back.
Rajogun comes back, yes.
He asks for weapons to defeat Vashishta. Like Vashishta himself tells him, you ask for small things like weapons. You didn't ask for Vinamrata.
Vinamrata, right. You did not ask for. So even Lord Shiva mentioned to him, I thought you will ask for pridelessness. I thought you will ask for some more humility. But you are asking for weapons. Then even then Vishvamitra says, or Kaushik says, no, what I am asking, just give me that only. I'm not asking anything more from you. So what does it mean? This is again praying even for acquiring powers. Again for selfish interests. So this is again mode of passion. Okay. Now next what happens?
Then again he gets defeated. He's not able to gets defeated by Vashishta.
Then what does he think after that? After again getting defeated from Vashishta, what does he think now?
He thinks he must become a Brahma Rishi.
Brahma Rishi.
Rishis are very powerful. So I must become a Brahma Rishi.
But why does he want to become a Brahma Rishi?
So that he has that power of Vashishta that nobody is able to. Again, it's a Rajogun.
Rajogun.
Brahma Rishi.
Rajogun. The motivation is coming because of Rajogun. He's not want to become Brahma Rishi to serve the society or serve humanity. He simply want to become a Brahma Rishi to serve his own ambition. So ambitious to become Brahma Rishi. He becomes like we become ambitious. I want to become maybe like some of the politicians want to become Prime Minister of India. I will not name them, but without having any qualifications, they want to become Prime Minister. So something like that. So he's also want to become a Brahma Rishi because he understood by Vashishta that by becoming Brahma Rishi is actually the most important thing. That is the most powerful thing, not the weapons, not my kingly knowledge and power. Nothing is. So again, this is he wants to become Brahma Rishi to show Vashishta his capability. Again, mode of passion. Okay. Now going next, what happens next? What
Next
happens?
again, he starts tapas.
Yeah.
And his tapas, Indra sends
No,
Menaka
before Indra.
Before
Trishanku.
he fights with that, again he gets defeated.
Trishanku.
He-
Trishanku comes with a
Trishanku
request.
goes to-
Trishanku comes with a request. Please send me to heavens. मुझे स्वर्ग जाना है. And what does he say to Vishvamitra? What weakness he exploits? Vishvamitra's weakness. Trishanku.
That is his opposition to Vashishta and his ego, that what Vashishta cannot do, I will do.
Yeah.
What Vashishta has refused to, I will do with my powers.
Yeah. So Trishanku says to Vishvamitra, even Vashishta has refused me. He has rejected me. And that's what provokes Vishvamitra. Oh, Vashishta has rejected you. I will actually will like to do and show Vashishta that actually I am greater than him. So he takes Trishanku's project out of pride to prove he can do what Vashishta cannot. So out of pride, he takes Trishanku's project of sending him to heaven. That's what he does. Again, mode of passion. Again, mode of passion is at work. Now you can see here how mode of passion is making him a puppet. He's being driven like a puppet. He's taking some decisions simply based because the modes are pulling him. And this is a person who is doing it even after having darshan of Lord Shiva. भगवान शंकर की तपस्या करने के बाद, उनका दर्शन करने के बाद भी मोड ऑफ पैशन उसका गया नहीं था विश्वामित्र का. So okay, then Prabhu was mentioning about Menaka. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So then he gets attracted by Menaka, so he stops meditation and gets involved into a family life.
Yeah,
Again,
and
mode of passion. Woman is
so
lust.
again felt prey to lust. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. 3.37. It says it is because of lust he felt prey to Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra felt prey to lust this time. Again rajoguna. Then what? Then
After that, after a few years of tapas, he suddenly, a few years of family life, he realizes, what am I doing? I'm wasting my time. I'm supposed to go. So then he again goes back to tapasya.
Yeah.
Again he does another 1,000 years of tapasya.
Then who comes?
Then Ramba comes.
Yes, Madam Rambaji comes. So Ramba attempting to attract Vishwamitra. Yeah.
This time he doesn't fall prey to lust, but he falls prey to anger.
He falls prey to
you have come to
disturb me.
I know that. So he gives a sharp to her.
Yeah, become a stone. Become a stone.
Yes,
so now this time he falls prey to anger. Again mode of passion. So or you can say anger is a combination of mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Both can be there. But you can see how he's being driven by various modes in various events that happened with him. And then what happens? Then what happens?
Then what happens? Again, he goes back to his tapasya. And now this time he does tapasya without eating any food or water, etc.
Yeah.
And then when he's finished his course and is about to eat, Indra comes as a Brahmana, disguised as a Brahmana, Indra. And so he hesitates for a moment, but ultimately he offers the food, and Indra eats up all the food, and there's nothing left for him. But this time, Vishvamitra does not mind, he does not get angry, he's in goodness mode, so to say,
Hmm.
and then he goes back to tapas.
Yes. So this time,
This is where a transformation, I would say, is happening.
Tolerated.
now this is now because of his tapasya, because of the sadhana he is doing, he is overcoming the moods. He has now overcome rajoguna. Now he is getting situated in sattva, or situated in brahman situation, brahma bhuta prasanna atma. The word that we read in 14th, the word that we see in 14th chapter 26th verse, sa gunan samti tyaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Sa gunan samti tyaitan. Now he is transcending the modes, or around that situation. So he has tolerated the inconvenience of hunger when he was hungry for almost 1,000 years. And then when Indra came, and he was just about to eat, still he gave his food to Indra. Oh, you take it. So this is something which is now he's moving towards goodness, pure goodness, like that. So I have shown it in yellow. Yellow means goodness. Then what happens?
Then, of course, after that, Brahma comes, he completes his tapasya, and Brahma grants him Brahma Rishi, and then he requests Brahma that if you are really a Vashishta should declare that I am a Brahma Rishi.
Right.
Then
So
Vashishta,
so he makes friendship with Vashishta. He begs forgiveness to him that I was not doing right. Now what is happening? Goodness is bringing knowledge to him. Goodness is bringing illumination to him. Goodness is bringing some sense to him, what he did wrong in the past. So he has now this sense of correctness, right and wrong. Why? Because of his sadhana, because of his dhyana, because of his yoga, he was able to transcend rajoguna, and he begged forgiveness from Vashishta, who was his arch rival, who actually became the reason for his doing tapasya. And now he's no longer interested in showing low to Vashishta. He's now becoming situated in goodness, pure goodness, like that. Okay. So then I would say also what we can see here is that Vishvamitra showed all the tendencies of Kshatriya. So Kshatriya is what? Kshatriya is mixture of goodness and rajas, mode of passion. So sattva and rajas mixed. But now, because of his sadhana, because of his yoga, in one lifetime alone, he actually transcends from Kshatriya to Brahmana. Generally, it doesn't happen for normal living entities. It doesn't happen like that. For living entities, if they are following Varnashram system, they generally continue to remain in the same Varna for several lifetimes. And if they continue to follow their Varnashram system, then they become from Shudra to Vaishya to Kshatriya, Kshatriya to Brahmana, like that. But one who is following the devotional service, devotional process, he doesn't have to worry about becoming from Shudra to Vaishya, Vaishya to Kshatriya, Kshatriya to Brahmana. He can, even if it is at a Shudra stage, if he takes to devotional service, he can transcend the modes directly. Why? Because Lord is saying, one who surrenders unto me, he can transcend the mode quickly. So this is something which is Brahman realized stage. He becomes Brahmana, he becomes Brahma Rishi, and that is where this 14.26th verse, Sa gunan samti tyaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Now he has transcended mode of goodness, mode of passion, and everything. Here now he is becoming Brahman realized. And then ultimately he goes to Ayodhya. Ultimately Vishvamitra understands and goes to Ayodhya. There he begs for Lord Ram. He says that Lord Ram, oh Dashrath, please give Lord Ram to me. Although he was fully capable, Vishvamitra was fully capable of defeating the Rakshasas, but he begs for Lord Ram, and he serves Lord Ram. When he's traveling with Lord Ram, he one morning he says the beauty of Lord's face, and then he recites a wonderful verse, Kaushalya Supraja Rama, and Purva Sandhya Pravartate, Uttishta Nar Shardula Kartavyam Devam Mahanikam. Like that, he Vishnu Sahasranam prayers he actually offers to the Lord. Now what happens is, this is verse number 14.27 of 14th chapter, which is mentioning that actually Brahman realization is also subordinate to Krishna. It's also subordinate to Lord Ram. So finally he surrenders to Lord Ram. He does bhakti to Lord Ram, and then from Brahman realized stage he comes to the devotional stage, to the bhakti stage, and then he perfects his life. So this is something which is the full journey of modes of nature, how the modes bind us, and how through yoga system, either dhyan yoga, gyan yoga, karma yoga, we can overcome these modes. But ultimately the final destination that we have to go to the Lord actually can comes only by devotional service. So Vishvamitra life is actually a very nice story, which can clearly give you a full explanation of chapter number 14. If you read it properly, if you understand it, the story is there, the chapter is there, the concepts become really very clear to you in your mind, right? So this is something which is I wanted to share with you through this drama, through this case study. I hope that was useful. Okay, now let us move to the next section, which is the shloka memorization section. So since we have a little short of time, I think let us spend just 5 minutes on this. There's a shloka here, 15.15, and this shloka is important certainly, but it is generally different from most of the shlokas in Bhagavad Gita that you would typically read, and I will explain it to you in a while. But somebody would like to recite this shloka in the right meter, in the right melody.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can I try, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Sarvasya chaham hidi sannivishto mattaspiti jnanam apohanam cha vedasya sarvai ahameva vedyo vedantakrit vedavichaham.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Very nice, very nice. So any other devotee who would like to chant this verse?
सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तस्मृति ज्ञानं मम बोहनं च वैदेश्य सर्वैश्वरमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद् वेदविदेव चाहम्.
Wonderful, wonderful, Prabhuji. Any other participants? Any other devotee?
I will do, Prabhu. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
yes, Anuradha Mataji, please.
Sarvasya chaham shruti sannivishto
Uh-huh.
yattah samruti jnanam apohanam vedesya sarvair aham eva vedyo vedanta vedavid eva saham.
Eva chaham. Wonderful, wonderful.
Chaham. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other participants? Okay. Let me tell you the speciality about this verse. This verse has been written in a chand which is known as Trishtup. Now this Trishtup chand is something which has more than 8 syllables. So how do we recognize the syllables? It is easy to do in the Hindi script. So whenever you see a full Hindi syllable, a Hindi letter, that is actually one syllable. So here you can count here, sa, va, ya. This half sa we don't count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So this verse is written in 44 syllables. So there are four charanas, four stages of this verse, and in each of these charanas, in each of these stages, there are 11 syllables. But in general, in Bhagavad Gita, whatever verses that you read, in general, they are mainly 8 syllables. So that chand is known as Anushtup. So Valmiki Ramayana and most of the Bhagavad Gita and most of the Vedic literature has been written in Anushtup chand. 8 syllables, 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, 16 plus 16, 32. But wherever there is an important discussion or an important event or some real shift is taking place in the flow of discussion, that's where the author generally try to takes help of these kind of meters, where the verses become a little long, they will become a little more poetic, a more detailed, more information is there, like that. So generally this is sung like this: Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritirjnanapahonam cha sarvairahmeva vedyo vedanta kradveda vid eva chaham. So that is something which is like a very melodious going up and down meter. It goes up and down. It is very rhythmic, and when you chant this verse like this, it becomes it is very melodious to the heart. So that is where I would kind of put this class to rest. And the final part of the class today is singing of Damodar Ashtakam. As all of you would know, maybe uh, today is the first day of Damodar month. It is the month of Kartik, and in this month of Kartik, typically what we do, or what has been recommended by the previous acharyas, is to worship Lord Yashoda Damodar, the form of Lord Krishna in the as a very small child, where his mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna with ropes. And that form of the Lord, if we worship in this particular month by offering them a ghee lamp, a diya, then it is considered very, very auspicious. So in our classes, whenever we will have it in the month of Kartik, in the end we will do these small prayers. So what I will do is, I have made this 2-3 slides where the prayers are written, and what I will do is, I will sing these prayers in front of you. You can follow the prayers while being muted, and you can recite at your respective places. For those devotees who are new to the prayer, it might sound a little difficult, but with little practice, I think we can sing this after some time. So that is what I would like to do as a final closing session for this particular class. So kindly try to follow the prayers and try to meditate upon the form of Lord Krishna as Lord Damodar. Here you can see on the right hand side, Lord Krishna is being bound by Mother Yashoda with these ropes, and Lord is crying. So all these discussions are there in the bhajan that I'm going to sing for you. So kindly forgive my lousy singing, and kindly sing with me as much as possible. Namamishwaram Satchidanandrupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodabhiyolukaladhavamanam Param Vrishtam Atyantato Drutya Gopya Rudantam Muhuranetra Yugmam Rajantam Karam Bhoja Yugamena Satankanetram Muhushwasakam Patri Rekhank Kantha Sthita Graivam Damodaram Bhaktibaddam Vite Drikswalilabhirananda Kunde Swaghosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Tadiyeshitagyeshu bhaktairjitatvam Puna prematastam shatabriti bande Varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va Na chanyam raneham vareshadapiha Idam teba puranatha gopala balam Sada me manasya virastam kimanya Tam te mukham bhojam atyanta nilai Vritam kuntalai snigdha raktaischa gopya Muhuschumbitam bimba raktadharam me Manasya virastam galam lakshalabhay Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukha Jalabdimadnam Kripa Drishti Vrishyati Dinam Batanu ग्रहणे क्षमामज्ञं निधियक्षिदृश्या कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धमूर्त्यैव यद्वत् त्वया मोचितौ भक्तिभाजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकाम्ये प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मेऽस्ति दामोदरेह नमस्ते स्तु धाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोदराय यथा विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तोभ्यं नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानम् यशोदाभियो लोकलाधवमानम् परं हृष्टम् अत्यन्ततो धृतगोप्या हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामो 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 हरे हरे। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। दामोदर अष्टकम की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। So with that final offering by us in the month of Damodar, we would like to put the class to rest. All glories to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I just want to check with you, would you be interested in hearing Damodar Leela from Bhagavatam as it has been narrated in Bhagavatam, maybe in the next session, so that we can also celebrate this Damodar month by reciting this at least in one class. So please let me know if you would be interested. It is not going to break our flow of Bhagavad Gita in a big way. Maybe we can dedicate one class for Damodar Leela as narrated in Bhagavatam, chapter 9 and 10, canto number 10. So, will you be interested? I don't.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Very
Prabhu.
much.
Yes,
Very
Prabhu.
much.
Yes, Prabhu. Very much, Prabhu. Very much, Prabhu.
Okay. So, so next class we will dedicate to Damodar Leela as narrated in Bhagavatam, and followed by one recitation of Damodar Ashtakam. I would request devotees if they can arrange for a small ghee lamp at their respective places. So while we are singing Damodar Ashtakam, we are also displaying various pictures of the Lord, and you may like to offer that Deepak to the Lord on the screen, your computer screen. So devotional service going virtual in every way, even offering our ghee lamp also going a little virtual, but we will keep maybe a actual ghee lamp. If you want to do it, maybe optional, you may like to do it, you can do it. So with that, I will put the class to rest. Any final comments or questions you may have, maybe we can take for maybe another 2 minutes.
Prabhu, very nice explanation of all the quiz queries, Prabhuji. Very nice.
Okay,
Enjoyed
thank
it.
you. So you found it
Wonderful.
little more explanation and understanding
yes,
going
yes.
a little deeper.
Correct. Concepts are getting more clearer and clearer.
Definitely,
I would say.
Prabhu. Definitely, Prabhu.
Okay. How do you like the Vishvamitra story? Was it a good example?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Very good
Very
example,
good.
Prabhu. Very good example, Prabhu. Very nice. Very nice.
You can see how modes are so much affecting us, and we are servants of modes many times, isn't it? Like Vishwamitra ji. Okay. Okay.
स्टोरी और गीता का चैप्टर एक दूसरे के लिए बने हैं शायद.
Yeah. Thank you. So the story is so much explaining the Gita chapter number 14. So nice comment. Yeah. Okay. So any other final thoughts or queries, or should we then put the class to rest?
Okay.
Okay. So
Hare
thank you very
Krishna,
much.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.